Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to part 2 of the Red Dragon Inn Box Set 8 Pub Crawl. So if you're, for some reason, checking out part 2 before part 1, part 1 went over the 5 different characters. So we have Nerodia the Petrifier, Phil Starstuck, Samantha the Bookie, Lucky the Scofflaw, and Father Farraday. So these are 5 other characters that run 5 other taverns around Greyport. They are not the actual Red Dragon Inn. They play like they have obviously different decks, but they play like any other character. There's nothing inherently different about them versus how every character is different. With the exception of Nerodia, who is also a villain. She can play her as a boss. She does have extra cards to play as a boss deck. So in this video, we're going to go over the drinks, because we didn't do the drink deck yet. And then we're going to go over a couple of different variants you can play, including the pub crawl variant. So if you just want to see what the character cards do, check out part 1. And then you can come back and check out this if you want to know what the other content. So we have our drink deck, and we have our divider, and then on the back it's going to show what all of them are. Hold that for a sec in case you want to see what they all do. And then we'll actually look at our drinks. Of course, we have our drink deck. We have a Flute Brute drink. 1 alcohol and -1 fortitude. Gross. Hope he cleaned this out with his cleaned out his spit valve. Then we have that with a chaser. We have, I'm not going to read all the effects on these, you can kind of read them as you go, but we have Wizard's Wine. Reveal the top 2 cards of your character deck, put one of those cards in your hand and discard pile. A Pot of Tea. Suitable for drunkards and teetotalers alike. And then a Pot of Tea with a chaser. The Alchemist's Artisanal Ale, awarded Best in Show at the Greyport Brewing Festival. Pixie Punch. When you need a little private pixie time, it's gotta be Pixie Punch, TM. And then Pixie Punch with chaser. A Fairy Ale, a microbrew, obviously, then with a chaser. A wine, classy, wine with chaser. We got our standard light ale, less spilling, and then with chaser. We got dark ale, tastes great, with a chaser. The Orcish Rot Gut, your stomach will hate you for days. We have some Elven Wine. The elves drink it, so it must be good. With a chaser. We have some Holy Water. It tastes divine. We have some regular water. Straight from the horse's trough. Troll Swill. The trick is drinking around the eyeball. Ew. We have drinking contests, we have a drink event, we have round on the house. Reveal a drink with possible chasers from the drink deck. If you reveal a drink event before revealing this drink, discard it and reveal again. Each player, including you, drinks a copy of the revealed drink. The drinking contest. Each player reveals a drink from the drink deck and drinks it. The player revealed the drink with the highest alcohol content, even if they avoided the effects, wins 1 gold from each other player. If there's a tie, player tie reveals the drink again until there's a winner. Drink event cards are ignored as they count to 0 alcohol content. We have Gnomish Inspirational Ale. You feel inspired to keep drinking. Mead. If mead was not the result of a drink event or chaser, you may split it with another player. Mead cannot be affected by any card that splits another drink. It's so good you have to share. Ogre Brew, or as the ogres call it, Brew. The Dragon Breath Ale, brewed under the direct supervision of real fire-breathing dragons, TM. Shot of Rum, bottoms up. and the Dwarven Firewater. It's strong enough to stunt your growth. So those are our brand new drink decks. Alright, then we're going to get into a couple of different variants in the game. So, in the couple of variants, there is... There's one. We have the bar drink variant. So this is something they started adding. Can normally play with a 30-card deck, which is what you get for your drinks. But if you have more than 30, because you bought multiple expansions that each have one, basically decides to shuffle all the cards together, deal out 30 cards, and then play it like normal. So basically mix them together, but then only still use a 30-card deck. Then when it runs out, each player pays 1 gold to the end. Then instead of shuffling the deck back up, draw the next pile. So basically you can create your own deck. So if you want to, just take, you have 2 copies, you can just take, either play one of each as a separate deck, or you could mix them together and get some other random things. If you have 4 or 5 decks, you could mix them all together, and then separate them all out. Or you can even just, kind of break down your decks and be like, we don't want to have 14 light ales, so let's get rid of a couple of these, and you could take 4 decks and knock them down to 2 or 3. But you only want to have 30 at a time, because part of the game is you need to run out of that deck. At some point to pay that 1 gold to the inn, just so that way you can keep going through stuff. We also have prize variants. So some of the various games have prize variant cards, which are special cards. Basically, they start at the beginning of the game in a pile, and then whenever a round starts gambling, the player must choose one of the prize cards as an anti-card. And if you win, you gain that prize. So let's look at those 2 cards really quickly in this set. So on the back, you're going to say prize variant. It's going to explain the rules for that. But basically throw these in the pot, and then if you win. Now, once all... if you play this card, then it gets discarded into a special discard pile, and then when all of them are done, then you reshuffle and you restart them over as cards that can draw from. So we have the Red Dragon Inn Loyalty card. Whenever a card that you play from your hand resolves, put it under this card instead of into your discard pile. When this card has 7 cards under it, put one of those cards into your hand, discard the rest, add this to the prize bin. And then when all the cards have been used, or there's no more cards in the draw pile, then you reshuffle that prize bin and everyone gets to retry and draw for these prizes again. We have the Pub Crawl map. When you win this prize, crawl to a new tavern. Then add this card to the prize bin. This prize may only be used in the game using the Pub Crawl variant. Alright, so that is that. Nothing extra special, but there's only a couple of different sets that have those, plus some promo cards. Other variants we have talked about Boss Battle before. So just some various effects that since a boss can play against a team of 2, 3, or 4 players, and they just have some different rules for that, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically the boss gets a bigger deck, a 55 card deck instead. They get a bigger hand size, more stuff based on how many players they are. They get extra gold and stuff. Yeah. So basically, try to play. You can play 2-headed boss, where instead each player can play as a boss. If you don't want to do like 2 or 3 players versus 1 boss, and each plays 1 bigger boss deck if you have more than 1 boss. Leaders and lackeys is a variation on that, where you can play as 2-player teams, where 1 player plays as a boss and the other person plays as any other character. Just kind of adds a little twist to that. There is also 2-headed dragon. This is so that each player can play on a 2-player team. So you can play as 1 team versus another team. And you do a lot of sharing of content. Then, with the team variant, there's a special bunch of pages. There's all these general rules for team variants. And this is stuff you're playing two-headed dragons or bosses because you have a team of cards. You're going to share your fortitude, alcohol content, and gold. So you're all using one thing. You just get extra turns and stuff. But you start getting a 20 and 20 instead, and 10 gold. You basically double everything, but you share it. So if something hits one of you, it hits everyone as a team. We have potion tokens. Ooh, sorry for the shaky camera. I just bumped that. Get these potion tokens, which you can use for various things in the game. Such as, anytime you go the following, gain 6 fortitude or lose 6 alcohol content or gain 3 gold. You have shared defense, which is basically, so if somebody attacks player A, player B on the team can play a card to stop that. Normally you can only play cards that would affect you, but since you're part of a team, you can play cards that would affect your team members. And then shared turn structure, so everyone does everything at the same time. So they draw a discard, they take in action, so each player on the team may play one action card, order a drink. So it's not player 1 goes, then player 2 goes, then player 3 goes, essentially, then the boss goes. It's team A goes, or the team, like the player team goes, or like one team goes. They do all their stuff, so they do all their drawing discard. Then each player gets to go in action. And then they each do the order of drink, then they each drink. Then that entire collective of that turn is over. Then the other team gets to do it. So yeah, it kind of just affects that a little bit. And then there's some different rules for drinking and gambling. One of the big things in there is team champions. So whenever you have to play, select something, it has to pick a team. So it says, many cards such as round of gambling or drinking contests would normally force multiple players on a team to face off another. In these cases, the team chooses a player to act as their champion. So this happens if an event would affect all players, round of gambling, or a player plays a card that will affect each player. So that basically selects one person that has to do it. If you draw a drinking event, you are the champion, but if there's another team, then they get to pick who gets to jump in and take care of that champion. That's just so you're not playing against each other while you're on a team. So if you're playing 2 teams of 2, like a 2 versus 2 battle, then gambling's going to be a 1-on-1 match. Or if you're playing a boss, it'll be the boss versus one of the other players, instead of maybe 3 or 4 players. So it's kind of interesting that way as well. There's a bunch of other little rules, but that's the gist of that. And those are your different variants that you can play. So then the last one, which is the game is based on, is the pub crawl. So in this one, you're going to set aside the 6 tavern cards with their open side space up, and we'll look at those in a sec. Shuffle the regular 30 drink, put it next to the Red Dragon Inn, and then shuffle the other 5 6-card tavern drink decks separately. Put each one next to its tavern. Pub crawling. Several points during the game will move to a different tavern. Whenever a player reveals a drink that includes one or more chases, that player must crawl. They move the party pawn to a different open tavern of their choice after the drink of any other effects are resolved. So regardless, as long as the chaser is revealed, regardless of what happens afterwards, you have to crawl to a different one. You may not crawl to a closed tavern when there's other drinks, and you may not return to the Red Dragon Inn until all other taverns are closed. So you start off the Red Dragon Inn, someone plays a chaser, you move to a different location, and every time a new chaser is played, you go to that. So each tavern has an event on it. When the party pawn moves to a new tavern, resolve the event. But each time it moves to that tavern, it may be ignored. And this is when you order a drink, you must take from the corresponding tavern where the party is currently at. After ordering a drink from the last tavern that closes, put the tavern card back in the box, and the player that ordered the last drink must crawl. If the tavern would close while a player still has more drinks to order, The player orders as many as they can from the tavern. It closes and then crawls, and then continues to order more drinks. So if like you had to order 3 drinks and that tavern only had 2, you'd order those 2, then go to the next bar and order 1 more. And it says the drink deck. Specifically, card refers to the drink deck always means the Red Dragon Inn drink deck, the base one. Even if you're at a different tavern. Multiple crawls, there's some other different stuff in there as well. There's a bunch of rules. And then you get these extra little tokens you can use to like keep track of if you make your crawl token up, you get which player must crawl if multiple players must do so. Yeah, and then there's some other special rules for playing the teams, or if you have Otto, like Otto never crawls. He's one of the special automatic AI characters. In multiple players reveal chasers during a team, or it's just like individual games. Alright, so that is that. So let's look at the cards for the pub crawl. So, first of all, we're going to have the token, which is the original 4 heroes from the base game. 5 if you count Pookie, I suppose. Then we're going to have our various taverns. So, the closed side is just kind of a picture of all the characters. On the front side, we're going to have taverns. So we have the famous Red Dragon Inn. Tavern event, each player pays 1 gold to the inn. So when you get there, you have to pay gold. We have Star Tusks. Each player may pay 1 gold to the inn. Each player who does so loses 1 alcohol content. The Harmonious Cup. Each player may discard 2 cards from their hand. Each player who does so gains 1 fortitude. The Scurvy Dog. Each player may discard an action card. Each player who doesn't loses 2 fortitude. Lucky's Rolling Barrel. Each player may discard up to 2 cards from their hand, then draw that many cards from their character deck. And then the Villain Pub, the Black Dragon Depths. Each player gains 1 alcohol content. Players may reduce or ignore this as though it came from a drink. So there are 6 different pubs. And then we will have our various drink cards. So we have our dividers. And on the back, it'll list which ones are in each one. So we have the Harmonious Cup. We'll start with. If I can find those cards. And there's the Harmonious Cup. Just a different back. So we have Farnier's Gift. Farfry's Secret Recipe is a temple favorite. Some holy water. Freshly squeezed. The Holy Highball. Draw 3 cards from your character deck. Holy Highball with Chaser. The Tipsy Tower. If this card is a result of a chaser, discard the entire drink without taking its effect. Oops. And the Celebration Shachu. Like a spring breeze, but with booze. So those are the Harmonious Cup cards. Up next, we'll look at Lucky's Rolling Barrel. There's the back of those cards. Bouncing Dragons. If this drink was not the result of a drink event or a case, you may pay 1 gold into this card to pass it to the player to your left. For every 3 gold on this card, rounded down, its alcohol content is reduced by 1. You gain alcohol content from this drink, take the gold on it. This drink cannot be affected by any card that splits drinks. Bottom Shelf Ale. Bottom Shelf Ale with a chaser. Gold Swagger. When you reveal this drink, choose a number between 1 and 4 for X. Getting X gold from the ing. Something green. It's green. It's alcoholic, and that's pretty much all we know about it. And Hair of the Goblin. Lucky offers her customers this cure also they can return tomorrow. Alright. Then we have the Scurvy Dog. Backs of those ones. We're going to get a Broken Glass. Pay 1 gold to the end. If this card is in the result of a chaser, discard all other cards in this drink without their effects. Pay 2 gold instead. They're used to Broken Glass around here. The Camaraderie Brew. X is the number of players currently in the game. Tastes better with the whole crew. A Bucket of Brine. Boy, they'll drink anything at this place. A Bucket of Brine with a chaser. A Crow's Nest Rum. This drink was not the result of a drink event or chaser. You may split it with another player. The effects would ignore the drink or reduce it below 1. Instead, reduce it to 1. This drink cannot be affected by any player that splits a drink. And then Water with a Punch with a Portal reference. That one packed a punch from Joring. Then we have Star Tusks. So there's the back there. Double Call, half tap, healing potion with extra foam. And then with a chaser. In the back of the chaser is we have the Moonlight Sugar Stealth Tea. Put this card in front of you. While it's there, you may play as a sometimes card with the effects, ignoring action sometimes or anytime card that affects your fortitude. Passion Fruit Tonic for 2. If this drink was not the result of a drink event or chase it, you may split it with another player. Perfect for a first date. 72-hour energy boost. If you gain alcohol content from this drink, you must play an action card. You can't reveal your hand. Multiple players must play action cards this way. They resolve them in turn order. A favorite among collegium students. And then the Rejuvenator. You may pay 1 gold to the ing. If you do, set your fortitude to 10 and your alcohol content to 5. If you don't, drink the top card from the drink deck instead. And then our last drink deck is the Black Dragon Depths. We'll get Evil Dragon Skeleton. So we have the Corpse Reviver. If you gain alcohol content from this drink, for the rest of this turn you would pass out. Instead, set your alcohol content to 1 less than your fortitude. It brings the party back to life. Mushroom Tea. Draw 3 cards from your character deck. Put this card in front of you. At the beginning of your next action phase, gain 2 alcohol content. Discard 2 cards from your hand, then discard this card. Hydra Milk. Put this card in front of you. While it's there, you may play it as a sometimes card with the effect add 2 alcohol content to a drink. Tomb Spirits. Cures mummy rot and sobriety. Tomb Spirits with a chaser. And then finally we have a drink event, which I'm not kind of surprised they didn't have at least one of these in each deck. The Wench Dares You. Reveal 2 drinks with a possible chasers from the drink deck. If you reveal a drink event as one of those, discard reveal again. You drink the drink with the higher alcohol content. Each other player drinks a copy of the other drink. The drinks have the same alcohol content. You choose which to drink. Alright, so that is fun there. Alright, so that is what we have for Red Dragon Ing, Set 8, Pub Crawl, 5 new characters, new boss to play as, give us some different team variants. Definitely worth it if you add in the other, either villain set or the other 2-packs. The Pub Crawl with the extra drinks has a neat little, just a little extend your gameplay, a little something different. kind of cool. The extra prize cards, lots of neat stuff in there. The box, just to point this out, is actually kind of nice. It has each different deck, except I don't believe they're going to hold sleeved cards. Let me find out. I have a sleeved card from Marvel right here, yeah. So, you know, again, I always use the penny sleeves, which are a little bit bigger. So left to right they'll fit, but top to bottom, they're not going to. Now, if you're using tight sleeves, like very higher quality ones, they'll probably all fit in here. So you probably could use sleeve cards if you use nice tight sleeves, but if you use cheap penny ones like I do, they won't fit. I should always just keep an extra set of those around. And then there's one for each one, so you can have each character, and then in the middle you can drop your drinks in there, and then your other stuff will just kind of float around wherever. Yeah, nice storage. These guys store right in the middle here. Store on top, and then throw all of your tokens and stuff in all these little baggies they give you. Otherwise, if you have one of the other storage boxes, they'll go great in there as well with all the dividers they give you. That's what we got for this video. See you guys later. Bye.